You'll make sure that I eat tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
By the time I get out.
There's a lot of food. There's a lot of food, Chris.
What is it, Chris?
32 for Verizon and 77 for Cablevision. You can call family and friends and tell them that you're going to be live on TV. We don't want to tell you in advance so that you're going to make you nervous. Pardon me?
No,
I don't know, we can repeat, it does repeat. Yeah.
Lovely day. So sorry. Lovely day.
I'm sorry?
What was the next?
32 for
Let's do
Verizon
nominal crap.
and 77 for cable. See, there you are.
Is it live yet?
Yeah.
Yes. Go on now.
Press.
Recognize these people?
Let's try lovely day. You got base? Everybody on their plan. Come on. We're gonna talk about lovely day real quick, right? Lovely day. Lovely day. Base.
K-Bro. K-A-B-R-O. K-Bro.
So, would you...
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Ramapo Town Board meeting tonight and African Heritage Night. And I want you to know that we're going to have the African Heritage program first, and then we're going to have food, and anybody that wants to come back to the thrilling town board meeting is welcome to come back. But we're going to do the African twinning portion first. And at this time, I'd like to ask our clerk, Christian Sampson, to call the roll.
Councilman Withers.
Present.
Councilman Ullman.
Here.
Councilman Friedman.
Here.
Councilwoman Logan.
Here.
Supervisor St. Lawrence.
Here. We have a quorum. I'd like to ask Deputy Supervisor Withers to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If everybody would remain standing, I would like to ask Yugoshi Nariaka. Enriaka. Did I get the Yugoshi right? Oh, good. Would you please come up, and she's going to sing the Star Spangled Banner and also lift every voice. Yes, and you can take that out if you... Perfect.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Thank you.
Please be seated. We have a great program tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Chris Sampson in a moment to talk about the wonderful people that we are going to be recognizing tonight, and we're going to have some great performances, and we're going to have some great food. Just as a little note, I have to say this. You know, we are twinned with Ashwali Boitwe in Ghana, and really Ghana was the first African nation to gain independence, and we're very proud of what goes on in Ghana. But we're also very proud of what goes on in Kenya, especially since our president has deep roots in Kenya. So the other day, I must tell you, I was very amazed when I opened up the New York Times and I saw the picture of Charlie Balvo. Charlie Balvo was in my class at Sacred Heart School, elementary school, for 8 years. And I read that Charlie Balvo is now the Archbishop of Kenya.
Is that right?
And so that's for Charlie. And so now, you know, I want to go to Ghana this year. Now we're going to have to make that a Ghana and a Kenya trip and go and see Charlie Balvo. That little kid in the classroom there is now an archbishop and just moved to take over to be the Archbishop of Kenya. So I think that's a great connection here with the town of Round Pole, along with our twinning. We do have some honored guests that are here, but everybody is an honored guest here. Aside from the people who live here, we do have our Chief of Police here, Chief Peter Brower. We have our Town Justice, David J. Stein, the Honorable David J. Stein. We have the former mayor of Spring Valley here, Alan Thompson. Former Assemblyman Ryan Carbon. Our present county legislator, Annie Paul. We also have the trustee from the village of Chestnut Ridge, Marissa Stewart. And Chris has always given me more as we go along. We have trustee Mr. Scott here from Hilburn. Where is he? Thank you. I just spoke up at the meeting in Hilburn at 7 o'clock, and you know how to conduct a meeting. You're done and down here for this wonderful event. That's fantastic. We also have with us. And actually, Tom Scott is also the deputy mayor in Hilburn as well. I mentioned Marissa. We also have with us Mrs. Fields from the high school, Ramapo High School. And we have Millicent Johnson-James here from Jamcar. And as I look around the room and I see more people coming in, I'll mention the other people that I haven't mentioned, and people will certainly give me little notes of who is here. And to a very special guest who I think will be able to speak to us, I say, "Mwen content vini parler avec nous Jodia," and that's I'll translate that for all our non-Haitian-speaking, Creole-speaking. That's it's an honor to be here tonight and be in your presence, and that is Wilner Cabro, who is from the Consul General's office right in New York for Haiti, and we're really glad to have you here. So we have a great African Twinning committee and program, and at this time I'd like to pass it over to our town clerk, Christian Sampson. But before he speaks, I'm going to ask we all give him a big round of applause, because Christian Sampson is going to be, in the month of April, is going to be inducted as the president of the entire Town Clerks Association for the state of New York. That's 932 towns across the state, and now he will be leading that organization.
I think my friend and supervisor, Chris St. Lawrence, is more excited about this assignment than I am. It's truly an honor.
I have to say something about that. I have to say something about that. It is an honor. Chris asked me to come and speak to one of the regional meetings of all the town clerks, and he had it right here at the Crown Plaza, and he asked me to come and make some open remarks as kind of the host town. And I walked into the room, and there must have been 300 people in the room. There was one man in the room, and that was Chris. Now I know why he loves this organization so much.
It's not bad duty. It's, they're wonderful town clerks from all over the state. You know, there are 932 of us all together, and just about 92% of them are members of the association, and some of the finest people, some of the finest folks in government are in the town clerk's offices around our towns. And I count myself among those folks because I have a wonderful supportive town board that lets me be the town clerk in the town of Bremen. Thank you all. Well, tonight we have our standard African Heritage Night program where we will do three things. We will be entertained, and how about the Eclipse Steel Band? Were they great? Don't clap too long, because they're getting first dibs on the refreshments. Secondly, we'll hear from, we'll have a dramatic reading, a poetic reading, and also an address by the Reverend Weldon McWilliams IV, who we're happy to hear from and proud to have a part of our community. And last but not least, we will adjourn. We'll recognize our honored guests who have contributed so much to the well-being of the town of Ramapo. And then we'll adjourn and enjoy some of the culinary delights from the African-American and Caribbean community here in the town of Ramapo. So without further ado, I'd like to have our first group come up. This is the Chikuawali Dance and Drum Corps, headed by our own Alexandrina Dixon. I see she just come into the room. Alexandrina, the president and CEO of Chikuawali.
Come right up.
Drina, you want to come up and introduce your troupe?
And I'd also like to recognize someone I see now I didn't see before, and that's a trustee from the Village of Airmont, Ralph Bracco is here. Thank you, Ralph.
Ramapo's Alexandrina Dixon, who, as I said, is the CEO, founder of Chikuawali, is also a queen mother in Ghana. Bipoase. And she'll introduce her group.
coming from being a panelist at Ramapo College, so my apologies for my tardiness. Chiku Awali, African Dance, Arts, and Culture. We've been around 10 years, since 2003, 10th anniversary. So tonight, our group, and as you can see, they got ready and they're all ready to go, even if I wasn't here. So I want to thank Miss Bonita, because she's always there. If I can't make it, she makes it. So tonight, we're going to have for you 2 dances and some drumming. You'll see Casa and you'll see Majani. I'm not sure which order, but nevertheless, here they come. Come right on up. And don't be quiet while they're dancing. Clap, say all kinds of stuff, you know. This African dancing is not a sit in the audience and just be demure and quiet. It's participatory. So if you feel like getting up and shaking a little bit, go right ahead.
On energy tonight. Nice job.
Wow, Chico Awali, dance and drum. Excellent, excellent. I have to rest after watching them. Okay, now is another more sober part of our program. This is where we recognize honorees who've contributed to the well-being of the town of Ramapo. So I'll ask the team of Simone Devereaux, Gene Fields, and Melissa Johnson to first Gene Fields.
Good evening. I am always honored to showcase students. And we are showcasing tonight 4 of the finest young people in Rockland County. Our first student honoree is Olivia Castor. Olivia, if you would join me at the podium. Olivia is ranked 3rd in the class of 2013 from Spring Valley High School. She dedicated herself to the most rigorous curriculum and achieved success in all of her endeavors. Olivia is comfortable in her skin, as you can see, and has had the honor of speaking at many press conferences, assemblies, including Senator Carlucci's press conference and the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation, which took place at St. Paul's Church. She is the first vice president of the Youth Council of the NAACP and has also been featured in the Journal News for her artistic talent. We are so proud to have her as a resident of Ramapo. Find you.
Well, as I present this to you, Olivia, I want everybody to know that you are going off next year. You're a senior this year, and you're going off next year to Georgetown University, and we're all very, very proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to meet you. Did you want to say anything?
Sure.
Do you want to have me say anything? Go ahead,
As
say
I
it.
said, she's comfortable in her
I-
skin.
Well, I'd like to start out by thanking the town of Ramapo for presenting me with this award. Each and every one of you has contributed in some way to allowing students like myself and the other 4 honorees to have a chance to get awards like this and to go out. I'd like to thank our parents and the community that we have. As you see, Chikawali, Jamcar, all these associations just help us better ourselves, and I think they're important and every student should participate. So, thank you.
Thank you. Very well said. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Amazing. Yes. Our next student honoree is Darian Garner. Some powerhouses here. Darian is a senior at Spring Valley High School, and she is ranked number 1 in the graduating class of 2013. She's been inducted in all of the subject honor societies and is a member of the National Honor Society. She's held many leadership roles, including Naomi's Program of Excellence. She's been in all district orchestra. Additionally, her community service involvement includes People to People and Community Action Partnership. We are so honored to have her as a neighbor.
It's optional. If you want. I want to get a picture. So, some pictures here. There we go. Congratulations, Darian.
Thank you.
You know, with Miss Fields, every student is number one, but you in particular, congratulations. Would you like to say a few words, Darius?
Just briefly, as Olivia put so nicely, I'd like to thank the town of Ramapo for making such an award possible. I'd like to thank my parents for supporting me in all my endeavors, and I hope to continue to make positive strides in the community. Thank you.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Darian hasn't made the final choice of where she's going to be going to school next year. Obviously, she has many options before her. Yeah, she was.
Our next student honoree, Joanne August. Joanna Moore August. Joanna is a senior at Ramapo High School, and she's challenged herself by taking many advanced placement courses. She understands that getting involved and giving back to the community are essential elements in creating the person that she wants to become. To that end, she's involved herself in many school clubs like Academic League, French Club, and Key Club. Her field work includes serving as president of the Youth Council of the NAACP, vice president of Interact, and a member of the Tuskegee Airmen Flying Red Tail. She's going to be a pilot. Joanna is awaiting acceptances from colleges. No doubt she will continue to be an important part of her community. We are so proud to have her as a member of our community.
Would you like to say a few words? Okay. Congratulations to you. We're very, very proud of you. Thank you. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, please. I'd like to take a minute to thank my parents, my family, of course, the town of Ramapo, and of course, Miss Fields and Mr. Trotman. Thank you all for making this possible.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Our final student honoree. And when they tell us that boys, young African American men are in jeopardy, this young man is not one of them. Olivia Mitty is a senior at Ramapo High School. Olivier has challenged himself with the most rigorous coursework and has earned the place of number 2 in the graduating class of 2013.
Wow.
He has gained acceptances to MIT, Harvard, Brown, RIT, and just to name it, that's just to name a few. But he has chosen to spend his undergraduate years at MIT.
Good choice.
Olivier was a wrestler all 4 years of high school and was an officer in the Student Advisory Council and a member of the Student Council Committee. His various academic honors are too numerous to mention, but has earned him a place on the principal's list all 4 years. Olivier is most proud of his membership in Science Research Club in Ramapo High School. He loves serving his community and his church as altar boy. Olivier is an example of what hard work and dedication produces. We are extremely proud to have him as a neighbor.
Wow, we're so proud of you. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words for us?
Yes, sir.
And congratulations on going to MIT. That is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. I guess I don't have much of a choice besides saying a few words, considering everyone before me said a few words. So with that being said, I'm truly blessed to have made it this far. Hi, guys. I'm truly blessed to have made it this far. It truly is an honor. But at the same time, I recognize the fact that I definitely could not have made it this far without people behind me. The saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, I believe. And I had a very large village raising me, trust me. I had my parents, of course. My mother's here. Unfortunately, she's right there.
The proud one that's beaming.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my father had to work, so he couldn't be here, but I see a number of other influences. Miss Fields, of course. I see a number of people from my church community here. Group guys, Mati, Sakapet. Okay. I see Nick and Allison waving at me in the back. I guess they want acknowledgement, so I will acknowledge them. I see Miss Hunt back there too. Hi, Miss Hunt. Without a doubt, I have a lot of people supporting me, and I thank each and every one of them. And I promise that I will do my very best to make the town of Ramapo proud. Thank you.
Oh, wow. I'm very proud of you.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to welcome Miss Patricia Driscoll Simmons to the podium. And she is here with her daughter, son-in-law, and her nephew. Ms. Simmons is the principal of Fleetwood Elementary School for the past 12 years. She's a graduate of SUNY Oneonta and NYU, where she received master's degrees in elementary education, infant and toddler psychology, and literacy. She is known for her many great strides in meeting and exceeding New York State norms for annual yearly progress. In her involvement in the community, she sits on the executive board of the NAACP. She is co-president of the East Ramapo Building Administrators Association. She is treasurer and founding member of Rockland Alliance for Black School Educators and participates in many community events. We are so proud to have Ms. Simmons as a member of our community.
You look beautiful. Congratulations. Now, would you like to say something? Absolutely. I'll hold this for you.
Good evening, everyone. I will keep it brief. My daughter asked me as she walked in, "Are you speaking tonight?" But I do want to take an opportunity to say to you, the way that I feel, it's all about the children. Always, all the time, and forever, it's always about the children. Always, okay? I am a very proud principal of the Fleetwood Elementary School, and I would like to ask for all of the staff members and everyone who is a part of Fleetwood, the parents who are here this evening, to just please stand and wave and say hello. Fleetwood, I must say, we have an absolutely fabulous staff at Fleetwood School, and so I thank you all. That's one of my first grade teachers. I thank you all for your support. I wanted to also say congratulations to all of the other honorees this evening, and a very special congratulations to the students who have been awarded this evening for a job well done. Thank you so much, and thank you for this honor to all of the Town of Ramapo members. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations.
It is also an honor to ask Dr. Nuosa to come to the podium. Dr. Julius Nuosa is a medical doctor at Morris Heights Health Center in the Bronx. Dr. Nuosa is an active member of St. Paul's Episcopal Church, which is located in Spring Valley, serving on the Health Committee and the Men's Group. He was a former vestry member, which is the parish leadership team. On the Health Committee, he has provided a variety of free health services to the church, providing flu vaccines, administering HIV testing, and conducting health forums. Dr. Nuosa lives in the village of Spring Valley with his wife and children.
Congratulations to you. We'd love to have you say a few words, if you'd like to. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. It's actually a great pleasure, to be honored by the town of Ramapo and to see this many people, especially looking at the students and thinking about what they will do with their future, and then hopefully some of them would like to go into medicine. But while looking into that, we think about, the crisis that we have presently and knowing that we can provide a lot. A lot is asked of us, and that's what we're doing. I have the privilege and opportunity to come all the way from Nigeria and then to settle in Spring Valley and to share the knowledge and to give. And thanking the family that is here, my wife and my son, and my St. Paul's family that's here. Thank you very much. Honor to be here.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Good evening. I have the pleasure to have Miss Jackie Casagnol. Jackie Casagnol has been a resident of Ramapo for the last 18 years. She has earned graduate and postgraduate degrees in nursing. She has worked as a director of nursing and a nursing professor and board member of several organizations, as well as charter president of Worldwide Community First Responders, Inc. Ms. Casagnol worked in the community has been recognized by many sororities and nursing abroad organizations. Ms. Casagnol is committed to making a difference in worldwide health through education. She is an active in Haitian American Nurses Association, and also she is part of Rockland County Haitian Relief and Ramapo Twinning Committee. We are proud to have her as a resident in our community.
We're very proud of you and the work you do with your organization and with Hannah and the wonderful relief you've given to Haiti, especially after the terrible earthquake. Thank you very much. Would you like to say a few words?
I'd like to thank the town of Ramapo for this award. This is amazing. I didn't think I would get this anyway. But I want to thank everyone that always supported me, and you know who you are around here that have supported me on all my endeavors. Without your help, without your support, I couldn't be where I am today. I want to say together we could do a lot of things. So with your support, that's why I'm here. Thank you for all your support. And I'll be talking again later. Thank you.
You're making a presentation there. Congratulations.
And at least we have Miss Nancy Giran. Ms. Guerin has worked over 25 years experience in accounting and finance in business administration. And also she worked in health and wellness and disease prevention programs. She has published in Health and Wellness magazine for several years and was a founder of the community-based Health and Wellness. And she worked in disease prevention consulting business. Mrs. Guerin was the founder of the Health and Wellness Information Center at the Frank Lansing Memorial Library. Mrs. Guerin lives with her family in Chestnut Ridge and serves as Eucharistic minister at the Church of Presentation. We are very proud to have her as our neighbor. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good evening. I thank all of you who are able to be here tonight. You have made this event a success. I also thank the board for giving this recognition to me. I thank my fellow Haitian American for also presenting my name for this award. And I thank you all. God bless and have a wonderful event.
Yeah, let's give a hand to all our honorees. We're so blessed. Well, so now we're going to be feted again with a dramatic reading by Miss Marie Love, member of our community who has graced our programs for a number of years.
And as she is coming up, I'd like to recognize a few other people. I'd like to recognize Willie Trotman is here from the NAACP, the Spring Valley Joint. Willie, how are you? And right here in the front row, we have Toinette Earl from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And the president of the Haitian Ramapo Task Force, and that's Jean Nicholas.
I think we're being feted by Marie Love and family.
Good evening. Kumanuye. All right. How are we doing today? Hopefully, I think you guys enjoyed everything that's been going on.
Sure. Yes.
Yes? Uh-oh. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry, everybody. We're going to have to do better next year. I don't think they're happy. Are we happy with everything? The cultural? You have a lot of young people doing great things, a lot of adults doing great things, and I didn't even know my friend was going to be awarded, a lot of my friends. So I think we ought to be proud of our community because not so many communities nowadays, you walk into them and people are doing so many great things. Yes or no?
Yes.
We hear about the shooting, and when we're looking at our people doing wonderful things, when you're looking at the media, this is not what they tell us. They don't remind us about this picture of us. So if we can gather here tonight and some of the media stuff, all the media stuff I can't even say, we're not looking at it because I know I'm going to get home safe. You know you're going to get home safe tonight. I know that, I'm not jealous of my brother or my sister that's receiving the award. I'm happy. And I'm even happier because I know Jackie is about to receive another award again Saturday, Come on, Friday. So let's just continue that rhythm. Let's just continue being together because together I think we can accomplish much more just like everybody else has said it. So if you see it's a little bit of a family affair tonight, it's just I've been sick and I've already said yes, I was going to be here tonight. I know after tonight my daughter's probably going to hate me because I made her come up here to do it with me, but that's okay, Ready? You do it. Come. All right. The first one that I'm going to let her do, and if she passes out, please pick her up. It's just to talk, to remind us that everything that you do, that you probably think it does not mean anything, everything in life has a meaning. And someone somewhere will remember what you do today. You might think that feeding somebody every Saturday doesn't mean anything, but you know what? You're feeding somebody. So that somebody's going to tell somebody, and somehow that's how we have what? We're remembering Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, Toussaint Louverture, Dessalines. Is that so? Am I wrong? So everything that you do, that you're going to be here next year, or that you may never get to be here, nevertheless, you're still going to be remembered somehow, some way, and that's what this one is about.
Okay, the title is Hey. Hey, at times life takes us or drops us in different directions, not necessarily because we've chosen so, but instead because that's how it must be. Let's not bother ourselves with such. Regardless of the pain inside, let us simply live and enjoy life to our very last breath. At least one day, one night, one moment in times, we know, we cherish, we remember that. Priceless moments can never be replaced or forgotten.
Thank you. That was from my book. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it if you didn't have your copy, so maybe tonight is the night.
What's the name of your book?
It's my story. You got it?
Yep. Got
You
it.
did?
Got it.
All right, that's another show after that. So the next one, I think a lot of us are very much familiar with it. It's by Maya Angelou, Still I Rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still I rise.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room?
Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise.
Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head, lowered eyes, shoulders falling like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries?
Does my heartiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still I'll rise.
Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come to you as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs?
Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain,
I rise.
I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave.
I am the dream,
the dream,
the hope of the slaves. I rise, I rise, I rise. Can you please help me say together? I rise. Thank you.
He wants to say a few words.
Thank you. You gotta say it loud. All right, he changed his mind.
It's a little scat. Yeah.
Says you have to pay to hear him speak. Well, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce our what we're referring to as our keynote speaker. Our theme this year is We Are Our History. We've got a number of depictions around the around Town Hall of various luminaries in African American history and African history generally. I'm so looking forward to this night. I have, if anyone has been to First Baptist Church in Spring Valley on could have been any kind of Sunday morning, and listened to Reverend Weldon McWilliams, Reverend Dr. Weldon McWilliams III speak, you know what a fiery and moving minister of the gospel he is. And I've heard that Weldon McWilliams IV, that his dad, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So we're so looking forward to hearing a very distinguished educator and also minister of the gospel, the Reverend Weldon McWilliams IV, feed us with a few of his earned wisdom despite his youth. Reverend McWilliams.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Why don't we give all our honorees and all our participants a round of applause? I would like to thank the town of Ramapo for having this night, and I thank them for inviting me again to share a few words with you this evening on the African Heritage Night program. I appreciate that. Before I get started, again, I would like to thank God for making this possible. I thank God for allowing me to come and giving me another opportunity to speak just one more time. I also would like to personally say a thank you to one of my mentors and one of the people who I highly respect in this community, a warrior and a fighter for the community and his people. Again, we acknowledged him earlier, but I'd like to acknowledge President of the NAACP Spring Valley Chapter, President Willie Troutman. If we can give him another round of applause. And again, I'd like to also thank those who came out to hear and the many supporters that are here. Thank you, Ms. Fields, Mr. Fields, Ms. Earl, and Ms. Earl. Thank you for coming out to support. And I just want to talk briefly with you, if you don't mind, on the topic again. We are our history. And yesterday I had the pleasure to speak, and they gave me a similar topic. We are standing on the shoulders of giants. And I just wanted to make a couple things, clear and just mention a few things, and then I'll be out of your way and I'll allow the program to continue. African Heritage Month, or sometimes referred to as Black History Month, you know, it's very, very powerful, but the question I feel that we must ask ourselves is, what is the potential of Black History Month? What is the power of Black History Month? And what is the potency in that power of Black History Month? We, African Americans and those of African descent all over the world, we have a vast history that goes beyond when Africans step foot on this shore. And so often as a teacher and as a scholar, especially in the field of African American studies, what I usually find in our students is that they know our history from enslavement, or the time since the institution of slavery was in America, till about the civil rights movement, and that's where they stop, without a proper understanding of knowledge of the history that people of African descent have contributed to the world before the Middle Passage, and that there's a not quite a sense of urgency and a not quite sense of recognition of the fact that we are still in the midst of a freedom movement right now. We have a vast history. A history, again, as I stated earlier, that goes beyond Africans coming to the Americas, this new world. There was a time where the African continent contained the highest level of organization and civilization on this planet. I challenge everyone to do research on that. There's Nubians and the Nile Valley civilization, and these were civilizations that dominated and ruled the earth, and at that time no other civilization on the face of this earth could even compare. For decades, maybe even centuries, There were those in the education establishment who didn't even want to acknowledge that these people of these civilizations were people of African descent. Those, the builders of pyramids, the founders of technology, and the founders of several different things. But we should all get to know a name. There's an African anthropologist by the name of Sheikh Anta Diop. Sheikh Anta Diop, he was an anthropologist, and one of the things he's most famous for is for proving that those people of the Nile Valley and those Nubians were people of African descent. He provided great research and even wrote books explaining his research and how he went and proved that these were people of African descent. We should let our children know, and we should know, that our ancestors are the founders of the sciences, the arts, spirituality, and medicine. One of the things that sometimes comes up for debate, but I have no problem with the debate, is that African people, we introduced spirituality to this world. We introduced this concept of a spirit, and we were so entwined with the spirit, there was no distinction between the spiritual world and the physical world. There was no distinction. There was no distinction. There was always a thought that even we on this physical, tangible world still had interactions with spirits, and we could still interact, and the spirit still had an effect on our lives. We had what they called a cosmological connection. We introduced the world to medicine. An African man by the name of Imhotep introduced the world to medicine, and he lived approximately 1,800 years before Greeks brought forth medicine. We even had a role and had a say and influenced astronomy. The Dogon community of Mali had a knowledge of this invisible star called the Sirius B. They've had this story, and they told this story from oral tradition from 3200 BC, that there was this invisible star that accompanied the Sirius star A. But it wasn't until 1970 that this star was finally photographed by a high-powered telescope by two French scientists. Not until 1970 that this star was made visible, but the Dogon community of Mali already used it and had it in their stories, in their oral traditions. The Dogon community of Mali were the first ones to study the stars and have a calendar that was based on 360 days and already had a calculation of how the earth revolved around the sun. What I'm saying is that they never had the concept that the earth was flat. They knew the earth was round. Right? So when we learn about our history, we have a vast history and a rich history, but we also have a history that has been strategically taken out from the knowledge of most of our people. So when we speak to these things, when we speak to the fact that we have a vast history, we must make sure that we stay connected to their history. The historian John Henrik Clarke is quoted as saying, "The relationship between history and her people is the same as a mother to her child." And if a mother or if a child is allowed to continue to roam without no knowledge or no understanding of who its mother is, that child will be lost for some time. And what you see is that there's still too many of us, far too many of us, who do not have a proper understanding or proper knowledge of our vast history. And as a result, it has caused some of us to look and behave as if we're lost. But again, I want to say that we are part of a vast history. We are our history. As I keep stating, Africa's history is vast. Before Europe comes on the scene, but before Europe comes on the scene, Egypt has already gone through and is entering 25 dynasties. And if we know what a dynasty is the completion of a ruling family. So it's when one ruling family is finished and another ruling family. Egypt went through this 25 times before Europe was even on the scene. So we have a vast history, and that history is a history that we need to take pride in. We also have a tremendous history and a tremendous legacy. We are contributors to the world, but we have a tremendous legacy here in these United States. We are a people who, in this country, people of African descent, have constantly and consistently tried to make freedom a reality for us. Several times in our history in America, we have had to try to define what does it mean to be free? What does freedom look like? What does freedom taste like? What does freedom feel like? We have had that fight and that struggle ever since we landed on these shores. And this struggle has taken shape in many forms. We had great men and women like Frederick Douglass and David Walker and William Still and Benjamin Crowell and Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman, Maria Stewart. They took part in what was called the abolitionist movement in an effort to get rid of or abolish slavery. We had great men and great women like W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Marcus Garvey, Ida B. Wells, Anna Julia Cooper, Mary Church Terrell. They promoted a self-help in an effort for us to obtain and gain equality. We had great men and women like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Reverend Wyatt T. Walker, Robert Williams, Joanne Robinson, Ella Baker, Fannie Lou Hamer. These were the ones who helped promote a civil rights movement in an effort for us to obtain freedom. We had great men and women like Stokely Carmichael, Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, Fred Hampton, Assata Shakur, Kathleen Cleaver, who helped usher in a black power movement just to help us figure out what does it mean to be free. Those are the names of just some of the giants whose shoulders we are standing on today. And these giants exhausted many tactics and they exhausted many strategies to bring this freedom into a reality. Many of them have made ultimate sacrifice. But one thing that I must say about when we look at our history, one thing we should understand is that history is never and was never an individual enterprise. Although many times when we read history and when we go through the historiography of our heroes, oftentimes we learn about our heroes in an isolated and individualistic fashion, but it must be understood that if it's not for the support of the masses of the people, these individuals would never have gotten the credit. Dr. King could not have been who Dr. King was unless the masses of the people, unless the community was behind him. W.E.B. Du Bois could not be who he was unless the community was behind him. And I say that to say that I can never be all that I can be unless you are behind me, and you can never be all that you can be unless the community is behind you. We must promote a sense of unity. We must promote a sense of a communal enterprise in which each of us understand that we have individual talents, but it's the unification of those talents that make us special. It's the unification of those talents that will bring forth something tangible, something that our children could hold on to, something that our children could look forward to, things that we could produce. So these heroes exhausted many tactics and many strategies. But we must all understand that it was the masses of people who contributed to this movement of freedom. So the question that I'm asking today for our honorees, congratulations. But I want you to take this as a challenge to continue to do the things that you have already been doing, to continue not to only improve and not to only seek to improve yourselves individually, but continue to motivate yourself to improve the community. Students, I wish you luck as you move on to college, but never forget where you come from. Never forget that your community can utilize your talents and can use your talents, and you have something to offer your community. So the question we must ask ourselves is, when we look back at the lives of those giants, when we look back on those lives, you know, they left a legacy. And a legacy is something we all should want to leave. A legacy is something that somebody else will remember us by. And these giants have left us things that we can remember them by. So the question is, how are we protecting that legacy? Are we still upholding that legacy? Are we doing what is necessary to continue this movement for freedom that we are still in? What are the civil rights issues of today? And are we still moving in a direction to make those civil rights issues prevalent and make sure that other people know that they are important for us in our community? Education. Many say that education is the civil rights issue of today, where we see disparities in specific schools all across the nations. We see a lack of resources. We also see a correlation between certain schools and the prison population. What are we doing to ensure that we are fighting for that civil rights issue of today? Is it fair that some kids have access and others don't? Is it fair that some have resources and others don't? Are we being advocates for our children? One of the things that our giants did not hesitate to do is they did not hesitate to commit to a personal sacrifice. And in today's age, when individualism and instant gratification is oftentimes a goal in which we all strive for, sometimes it's hard for us to understand that sacrifice is necessary in this fight for freedom. John Henry Clark also said that in order to obtain freedom, the African American community must be willing to have one generation committed to sacrifice. One generation willing not to look for any personal gain or any individual gain or any individual accolades, but a generation that is willing to make forth the necessary sacrifices so that future generations could be more, should have more opportunity and can have more a level ground to stand on. So we still have civil rights issues of today, education. We have this prison industrial complex where we see our prisons are filled with more people that look like me. African American men and Latino men make up almost 70% of the prison population. I can't help but feel some type of way about that statistic. But the question is it enough to just feel some type of way? Or do we try to figure out why? Why are those statistics so? What are the causes that allow a prison population where, although Latino and African Americans barely make up 30% of the American population, they make up 70% of the prison population? We must do some investigation. What are the civil rights issues of today? There's still underprivileged communities. There's still communities that suffer from a lack of organization, that suffer from a lack of political and economic power. There's still communities who are being spoken to and not spoken for. And there's still communities where people in those communities don't have the opportunity to voice the issues going on in their community. I lived in Philadelphia for 10 years and just moved back this year. And I'm telling you that we still, Philadelphia and the political process still strategically isolates certain communities and still makes sure that certain communities don't have a voice or a say-so in the political and economic future. So I say all that to say that we still have some work to do. I say all that to say to our honorees, you still have some work to do. I still have some work to do. You still have some work to do. The freedom movement is still continuing today. As long as there's somebody who doesn't have 3 meals a day, as long as there's someone who doesn't have a roof over their head, as long as there's someone who doesn't have clothes on their back, those are indicators that there's a freedom movement that is still necessary today. As long as there's children who are not afforded the best education or the education that they deserve, there is still a freedom movement today. As long as there's still suffering, as long as there's still men and women, as long as there's still no equal pay for equal gender, there's still a freedom fight going on today. So I encourage each of you, yes, congratulations, honorees, and I encourage each and every one of you, we could find an issue, and we need to stick to that issue, and we need to all commit to the freedom movement that is still going on today, not because we have to, but because we should, and we are our history. No one person can do everything, but everybody can do something. Thank you very much for your time. God bless you.
I was reflecting while you were speaking. When we sat in committee thinking about a theme for tonight, We Are Our History, we had an inkling, but you've given us the real deal, how empowering it is to know, understand, and build on your history. You hit it right, you hit that nail right on the head Reverend Dr. Weldon McWilliams IV. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Well, this concludes our program. I'd just like to take a minute to have the members of the Ramapo African Heritage Twinning Committee be acknowledged. So, needless to say, our honorees, presenters, Simone Devereaux, Gene Fields, and Millicent Johnson-James. We're going to have the council. Yes, yes. Gene Fields. Carol, will all of the members of the Ramapo African Heritage Twinning Committee please stand up and be acknowledged? And of course, all of you who want to be a part of our committee, you can stand up and be acknowledged too. Well, we had an honored guest here tonight in the person of the Consul General from Haiti. I'd like to ask Mr. Will Newcastle if he'll come up and share a few comments with us.
Go Moye.
Kimby. Good evening. I wasn't supposed to be here. The General Counsel was the one, the invitee to speak tonight. However, the gentleman is so energetic, he's all over the place. He was caught up today in he's trying to get a contract with another airline to serve Haiti. They're trying to get JetBlue to go to Haiti this year. So he could free himself, so I'm here. When he asked me to be here, I didn't know I had to speak to him. Anyway, I have to thank you, the town of Ramapo, to be here for the invitation. And also, Simon also wanted me to be here. Walking here today, when I heard I had to speak, I said, what would I talk about? And since it is African Heritage Night, and as I was walking in, I saw this beautiful cover, and I've seen the roots and with all the branches, all the countries where all the African people were disseminated. And I'm saying, well, even though we've been in different places and speak different languages, there are things that we kept. Our ancestors made sure that we kept our custom, and like in Haiti, for instance, if every time we talk, we would refer to Guinea because we think we're from Guinea. So if we're dancing, we call our dances from the tribes of Africa. We call our dances, our rhythm, Igbo, Congo. This is what we are. And as I was watching the band playing the rhythm, this could be very easily adapted to any Haitian dance. So we kept our similarity. One day I met a guy from Benin, and he was telling me about the subject, went into voodoo and things like that. He said, he told me he was in Montreal, and there was a Haitian professor giving a lecture on voodoo. And he was talking about the tongue, some type of tongue the voodoo priest only speaks during the ritual. And after the lecture, he told the voodoo priest, everything you said that was transmitted to you through centuries, I understand it, what you were saying. This is my language. So you can see 500 years did not erase what we brought from Africa. And I thank the town to take that day to celebrate the heritage that we all share. So thank you again very much, and I present my excuse for my general counsel who would not be here, and thank you for your little time.
A note. Calherb is here? Calherb Monell is here? Where is he? Ah, there he is. And he's now the Reverend Calherb Monell. Oh, you're just a little kid. So good to see you. He's now the president of Christians United for Haiti. Pleased to see you, Calherb. Well, one of our honorees tonight has launched a rather unique mission. So I'd like to ask Jacqueline Cassignol to come up and just share just a bit of her vision with us before we close our program.
Thank you. Due to global changes, disasters are becoming more frequent than before. Worldwide Community First Responder Incorporated, of which I am the founding president of, was created to address certain needs in preparing for these disasters. On March 17th, we'll be hosting an introduction to WCFR. Our theme is Help Us Save Lives, and we are inviting everyone to come and learn about what we do. The event will take place in Nyack at Bird Cafe, and space is limited. There is a flyer that's put on everyone's chair if you need more information, and we look forward to seeing you there. We look forward to working with you in partnership. Our mission is to prevent death worldwide through education and training. Thank you.
Yeah, as Jackie points out from time to time, all of us, each of us, in one way or another, can be a first responder given a sudden catastrophe. So it pays for all of us to learn what to do if someone nearby stops breathing or somehow falls out and loses consciousness. What should you do? 911 is one of the answers. But there are things that the individual who's there can do, and Jackie's organization can help us all learn about that. Well, Mr. Supervisor and Town Board, that concludes our program tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. I have to tell you, I'm going to ask Jack, who does the filming here, to replay this entire thing tonight because Reverend McWilliams, I want to drink that speech again tonight. It was absolutely unbelievable and so full of truth and really a road mark, a map for the future of what we can do to pull our community together. And God knows we need that help right now, especially. And when I see these young people from our school district, from the East Ramapo School District, when they get an access to the opportunity, how well they perform. And we need to empower that, and we need to make that message our message. And I want to work with you to make that the message of this year, not just this month. And I'm going to go home, I'm going to get some snacks, I'm going to get in bed, and I'm going to watch that again live on TV and have them replay it, and I'm going to take more detailed notes because I took notes of what you were saying. It was so well, I don't want to use the word crafted, it was so well put together, and the images that you evoked were so true, and we forget whose backs we've stood on. And I'm going to do some more research on that Sirius B star. I find that fascinating from 3,200 years ago to 1970 when it was first photographed. But all of those people that you mentioned, men and women, and many that you didn't even mention. I didn't hear John Lewis's name in there, a fighter of freedom amongst us today, a giant. But so many. Empower young people, empower communities to do the right thing. And we need to do the right thing. You know, just today I learned that the sequestration that will hit this nation on Friday, on March 1st, will take $861,000 out of the East Ramapo School District. That's how terrible the impact will be on that district. We cannot allow these things to happen. We need to reverse this, and we need to make good-thinking people understand exactly what your message was tonight. Well, I want to say congratulations to all the honorees and to these incredible young 4 students that we honored, and to all the wonderful teachers, and to your message too, Patricia, that it is all about the kids, and the kids are our future. And as I said earlier, as we will break now to have some food, people are certainly welcome to come back for our thrilling town board meeting afterwards. But if not, we will understand. And thank you all very much for coming tonight. God bless all of you, and God bless this great nation. Thank you. let him go for a little bit. I find it safe.
Oh, that was him?
Give me.
That's a Sunday.
We almost ready, Jack? Okay, we're back from the recess for the African Heritage Night. Chris, you did a great job.
Yes. Thank
It
you.
really was a
Pleasure.
very, very good program. It moved along nicely.
Yes.
It was the right length in each little part of it. The dancing and the music was great, and the speeches were fantastic, including Weldon McWilliams the fourth.
Terrific, isn't he?
He's a really great speaker.
I think it was a good practice for his role as president.
Yeah. So we have our town attorney, Michael Klein, on the first item on the agenda, and so I'll hand it over to you, Michael.
Thank you. We have 3 agreements for the board's approval tonight. The first of these resolutions is to approve an agreement with AmbuBill for ambulance billing services for Chevra Hatzola Ambulance Corps and the Village of New Square Ambulance Corps.
Withers?
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The next resolution, 1A2, authorizes the entry into a license crossing agreement with Metro North Railroad. This was conditioned upon a separate agreement between the town and Augusta Meadows LLC, by which Augusta Meadows will pay the fees that will be charged to the town by the railroad.
Moved by?
Withers?
Moved by Councilwoman Logan, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Each year, we enter into an agreement with Nyack Hospital to provide an employee assistance program. The next resolution extends the current agreement. This one will go from April 1st, 2013 through March 31st, 2014, and this is for non-police employees.
Withers?
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The next resolution is the result of discussions had between Councilman Ullman and Scott Shedler, our assessor, on ways to expedite reviews for condominium offering plans. This resolution adopts a condominium offering review procedure, which will hopefully accomplish that expedited review.
Moved by?
Ullman.
Councilman Ullman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. I just received something, and it's on this topic. And it came from Pat Cisco in our assessor's office, and it was a request on a condominium project from our Pat Cisco, that she wanted a complete inventory of each unit and an inspection done, and we gratefully appreciate you to attach the inventory of each condominium. And I don't think that's what we are doing in this. As a matter of fact, we're probably doing just the opposite of that. When a condominium unit, a unit, let's say a two-family house or three-family house, is turning into a condominium unit, nothing's changing on the units, the number of the units, the size of the units, none of the footprint is changing. And it's not for us to go in and then inspect that and take an inventory of it.
And especially condominiums have a flat tax rate. It's not based on if they have marble kitchens or fireplaces. It's just, there's a set flat fee that condos have, and there's no reason to go in, someone's been living in a house for 15 years, to go in and re-inspect it.
Exactly, and so this goes to one of the points that you wanted, and we spoke about at the workshop, and that's why I bring it up, where you wanted some language in there, and we can add into this law as goes on, but you wanted language that once we had approve the plan that goes to the AG, then that's it. And it's not a going back and asking for something more, because that delays the process another 2, 3, 4 months.
That's correct.
And so that's really what we're trying to do here. And that service will be provided by our assessor's office, and we will charge a fee on that of $500 for each one of them. Okay? I just wanted, that was the intent of your action, right, Councilman Ullman?
And even for the new condos or a new construction condo, it actually, now it's a difficult time for people to get mortgages and so forth, and this will speed the process by coming to the assessor, paying the fee. It's a win-win situation. The town could help them out, and they could get the mortgage much quicker.
And it makes it more affordable, the housing more affordable for our residents. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The next resolution sets March 21st, 2013 at 10 a.m. as a public hearing date for a proposed amendment to the Town of Ramapo's noise law relating to activities which had been prohibited on Sundays, and this proposed change will treat Saturdays and Sundays in a similar fashion.
Good. That's as it should be. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
There's a problem which has been recognized throughout the state in lieu of the large number of foreclosures that have occurred over the past few years. One of the problems is that properties which are in foreclosure often end up in disrepair, and it's difficult for the municipalities to identify who the responsible property owner is or who the responsible entity is to clean up those properties. There is pending in Albany 2 bills which are address this issue and will require banks who are in the process of foreclosing to provide contact information where responsible parties can be contacted to improve vacant structures which have become in disrepair. So this resolution memorializes the town board's support for this legislation, which is now pending in Albany.
Just on the motion?
Yep.
Do we include vacant land as well? Parcels of land?
I believe the bills which are pending only deal with improved properties.
Oh, okay.
All right, there is a state law where vacant properties which are overgrown can be cited, and the town has the ability to go in and actually clean them up and then ultimately build a landowner.
We have this property right here in Airmont and 59 is absolutely littered with garbage.
It's something we could certainly advise the Village of Airmont board to attempt to address.
Okay, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Councilwoman Logan.
I'd like to thank Scott Shedler for working on this. I brought this to his attention, and like Deputy Supervisor said, I noticed there were quite a few properties that this bill supports, and we really want to have that cleaned up and minimized as much as possible. So I want to thank him for a job well done.
The next item on the agenda is purchasing. Our Director of Purchasing, Mona Montel.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to first say that although we're going to run through these rather quickly, that the board has discussed each item in depth at their workshop, and they're well aware of what each of these items are. So item 2A on the agenda is in reference to the authorization for emergency repair for the Highway Department roof, and we're asking you to accept the proposal of Boss Construction. This was related to Hurricane Sandy. We will be filing an amendment to our FEMA claim application, and we hope that they will accept it under that, but we needed to do some emergency repair work on it.
Okay, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Logan. The roof was a 35 by 45 section of the roof blew off, and so it's an emergency to get that back on.
That's correct.
Moved, seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Item 2B1 on the agenda is in reference to the maintenance of recondition and fall takedown of the tennis courts for Ramapo Tennis and Swim Club. I'm asking you to accept the proposal of Oval Tennis, Inc., as listed in the resolution.
Moved by
Withers.
Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Item 2B2 is in reference to the repair of the tennis court and fence at Clark Center and the fence at the St. Lawrence Center bubble. We're asking you to accept the proposal of Yabu Fence Company.
Moved by Councilwoman Logan, seconded by Councilman Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Item 2B3 on the agenda is in reference to the approval of an agreement for the maintenance of the heating and air conditioning systems at the St. Lawrence Center and Bubble. This will ensure that we don't go over our budget in reference to it, and they will include all repairs.
Moved by Councilwoman Logan, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Item 2C on the agenda, C1 on the agenda is in reference to the acceptance of a bid for shade tree plantings. As the board requested, we added additional trees to that when we went out to rebid. We're asking you to accept the proposal of the bid of Lois Barbado Landscaping.
Withers. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Item 2C2 on the agenda is in reference to the Spook Rock Pool shell repair. We're asking you to accept the bid of Ray Palmer Associates as listed in your resolution.
Moved by Councilwoman Logan, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Item 2D on the agenda is in reference to authorizing myself, the Director of Purchasing, to attend the annual SAMPO conference in Lake George, and this is a purchasing conference for purchasing directors.
Moved by?
Who's coming with me? I have,
Withers? Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. Yeah, you have two roommates now. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Enjoy Lake George.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Finance. The Deputy Director of Finance, Nat Oberman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Here to receive the award, the Oscar. Go ahead, Nat.
Agenda item 3, Finance. As the County of Rockland wishes to reimburse the town of Ramapo for police overtime for counterterrorism and backfill under the State Homeland Security Program in the amount of $14,434.83 for the retroactive period of August 1, 2009 to January 31st, 2013. I recommend we take that money.
Well, let's take it. 3 years, we got $14,000. That's fantastic. Thank you, Nat. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is the assessor. Michael, do you want to take the assessors?
Sure. The first resolution under Scott Shedler's portion of the agenda is for the appointment of a real estate analyst to assist the Board of Assessment Review. This would be Dominic Zagaroli.
Moved by Councilwoman Logan, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Robert Yodowitz has been hired by the town in the last few years to assist as special counsel to the Board of Assessment Review for commercial grievances. This resolution continues that for this coming year.
Moved by Councilwoman Friedman, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Should I call you mayor?
I'll take it.
I know you would. All right, Council, you can continue. Our frivolity continues.
Paul Goldman of Albany, New York, has been retained by the town in special franchise public utility cases to represent the town in these very specialized taxatory matters. This resolution continues the employment of Mr. Goldman in those proceedings on an as-needed basis.
Moved by?
Withers.
Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The state is considering legislation that would alter the methodology by which public utility assessments are made. The consequence of this legislation would be to cost Ramapo and many other municipalities a tremendous amount of tax revenues. This is a memorializing resolution asking the governor and our various representatives in Albany to oppose this legislation.
Friedman.
Moved by Councilman Friedman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
As a result of a recent court decision which interpreted a rather gray area in New York law to exempt fiber optic properties that are on private right-of-ways. If this interpretation continues, Ramapo, as well as virtually every other municipality throughout the state and city, will end up losing a significant amount of tax revenues from a taxpayer that can certainly afford to pay it. This resolution asks that the governor and the state legislature introduce legislation that would alter this court decision and thereby tax fiber optic lines on private property just as they do on public property.
Withers?
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. The impact, did you mention, the fiscal impact just to our town would be $1.4 million because of this case. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. We're going to reschedule the workshop and the town board meetings in March, and we are going to have our regular meeting take place in March, the workshop, and then the town board meeting. And then the second meeting, which is right in the holidays, instead we're going to have the meeting at our town board meeting on that Thursday morning prior to that, correct?
Yes, we're scheduling the workshop on 9 o'clock on March 21st, when we do have a regularly scheduled town board meeting, although that meeting generally addresses primarily police matters. So on that day, we will have a workshop at 9, followed by the regular town board meeting.
And I don't think we have a big agenda for the second part of March, but the other, if we had our regular meeting date, it would have been right on Yom Kippur. So that's why we're making,
Passover.
I mean, the Passover, excuse me. And so that's why we're making the change. Okay. Moved by Councilwoman Logan, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. We want the acceptance of a grant. This is Creating Healthy Places to Live, Work, and Play program, and this is for the Fit Trail Station. Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Under new business, we do have Reverend Brightman is asked to resign from the planning board and would like to instead, well, first we have a resolution for him to resign from the planning board. Moved by Councilman Ullman, second by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. As you know, Reverend Brightman has gone into semi-retirement as a pastor and has asked the chief, and the chief has agreed that he would spend more time working with our police department and with families in need as the chaplain for our police department at a stipend of $12,000 for the entire year. Moved by Councilwoman Logan, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. And we had one other item of new business, which was the support of the governor's gun control legislation, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Council, do we have any other new items or any other?
No, that's it. It was just the support of the state.
Anybody in the public that would like to speak? Okay, a motion to close public participation by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Any council member comments?
I do.
Yes.
Okay. Go right ahead, Daniel.
Yes, you know. Thanks. Thank you. I just want to inform the town of and the residents of a project that's been going on in the community. I have put together a partnership with Conbit Neglick High in Spring Valley and the Ben Gilman Health Clinic in Spring Valley to arrange for a large transport of medicine and medical supplies to Haiti for a mission to Haiti that is coming up in just a few weeks. We're going to have a lot of doctors from the town of Ramapo go to Haiti and set up a clinic for children, primarily designed to provide medical support to young people and children. And this mission requires a tremendous amount of medicine and medical supplies, whether it's Tylenol or antibiotics and things of that nature, but primarily, from what I understand, the major issues are issues of high blood pressure and diabetes, and those are things that are pressing. Through this partnership, we've arranged for a lot of those medicinal needs to be met but there's so much more, and I wanted to reach out to the people all across the town to give an opportunity to be a part of this important project. That if anyone is involved with a medical group or a pharmaceutical group or would like to be involved by contributing, donating medicine or medical supplies, you can call my office here at Town Hall at 357-5100. You can also call Conbit. I'm just pulling up the number here. Speak to Reynold directly and to get involved, and that is 425-4623. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Logan.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just want to mention what's going around our town. 2013 Winter Carnival and the Boulders Baseball Fest will be Saturday, March 2nd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Center, Health and Sports Center, which is 115 Torn Valley Road, Hillburn, New York. We will be featuring the Boulder Bird. Of course, we will have rides and games, and you'll be able to meet the Boulder players. This is a free event, and please write it down, take note. It will be free hot dogs, free baseball clinic, win baseball tickets to the Boulders game, and I believe that season is starting in May this year.
May 16th.
May 16th. DJ and dancing, the card show, and you can win Boulders merchandise. Again, it is free admission, and we'd like to see you at this Saturday's Winter Carnival. Next, we have our Italian Twinning Committee, and it will be, I'm sure, an exciting event. It is our 17th annual dinner dance carnival. It will be honoring our own Phil Tisi. He is the Public Affairs and Specialist and former teacher and Social Studies Department Chair at Suffern High School. And as well, the other honoree is Mr. Joseph Costanzo. This will be Saturday, March 9th at the Colonial Inn. If we have more information, you can call the town of Ramapo, and we'll be sure to get you that information. The event is called Carnival. It is the town of Ramapo's Italian twinning, and we look forward to seeing you there as well.
Fantastic. Any other comments? Then at this time...
One more. I'm sorry.
I apologize, Brendel. I didn't...
Okay. Supervisors Action Alert. 2013 Ramapo Spring Cleanup. Monday, March 11th through Monday, March 25th. For all the residents of the unincorporated part of the town of Ramapo, please get everything together and bring it out because we're going to have it picked up. That is Monday, March 11th through Monday, March 25th. So this is a good opportunity for those things that you would normally not put out in your regular garbage that are prohibited. We can actually have them removed. So please mark that on your calendar. Our spring cleanup is very important, and it's a good time to get rid of some of that stuff that's been sitting around all winter. Thank you.
Are you done, Councilwoman
Yes,
Logan?
I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
And at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilwoman Logan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. We're adjourned. Thank you all very much.